Yeah, Tigers out rebound South Dakota. Admittedly, a small team, 38-24 tonight. The rebounding has not been a big issue for the Tigers this year, and I would anticipate it not, even as they move into tougher parts of the schedule. As you mentioned, there are lineups where they could run five guys out there who are 6'5" and above. I mean, and you talk about Trent Burns, who we don't know anything about Trent Burns. I can't imagine Trent Pierce, when he is ready to go, is not an integral part of what they're doing. He's another guy who's 6'10", who can play that stretch forward. So again, there's a lot there. The hope that I would have as a fan is that Dennis Gates can really lock in on how each of those groups works together. You just, again, we've talked about this a lot. I'm the guy who's sitting there saying the 8-man rotation, and maybe they got to extend that to 9 just to give you a little bit more versatility. But by and large, I mean, this is, I really look at this team, and again, we have not seen any real challenges. And maybe check back with me in a month when they've gotten their nose bloodied a little bit by some of the teams on their schedule. But it seems like, from a talent standpoint, it's all there, right, with this group. And the factors that I'm really going to keep leaning on here are, they going to put together 40 minutes of defense every single night. They do that, they got a chance, I think, against anyone. That's number one. And two, how does Gates use these pieces? Because again, it is hard not to watch them play and know that they probably have 10 guys who on any given night could drop 15 points.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's 12. I hope we don't get to 12 playing regularly. It just becomes too much at some point in time, and rhythm becomes such a tough thing to achieve. But I mean, we look at this group, and again, it is just, it seems like there are so many variables. And again, I don't know, Grant. I mean, like, I'm sitting here and I'm going, there's nothing that jumps out at me deficiency wise, other than maybe effort from time to time on defense, which, I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's okay to go out there and never be trailing to South Dakota or lose the second half like they did to Prairie View the other night, which clearly Dennis Gates was not happy with, which is why I think we saw guys on the court longer tonight. But again, I can also sort of understand to a degree that it might be hard to really get everything going for you physically and emotionally against South Dakota on a Thursday night in front of about 4,000 people, So again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that the switch can be flipped when it's Notre Dame in a couple of weeks, when they play Kansas, that defense, that the intensity will not be waning at that point in time. But again, I mean, I'm curious, do you have concerns about this team at this point in time? What are they? What do you think, how real are those concerns? And what have you seen in terms of what you think this team's ceiling can be, kind of based on, again, a very limited sample size of good competition?
Yeah, it's tough because they've been winning games by 30, 40 points. Like, how do you poke holes? I'll say tonight, especially, a little lackadaisical with the basketball, which again, 17 turnovers. Is that laziness? Is that, like, that kind of factors in my mind the same way when we were talking about the defense, kind of. Is that being a little loosey-goosey? Oh, we're up 40. Here's a cross-court pass that gets picked off. Like,
that's what happened, I think.
Exactly. So that's tough too. I would say defensively is my main concern. Of Dennis Gates' teams have never been that great defensively. This is a team that could be great with their size, with their length, with their speed, with their versatility. Guys can guard 1 through 5. Like, this should be a monster defensively. I just don't know. And this is not a shot at Dennis Gates. I just don't know if his teams will have that in them. Like, his teams, it feels like, need to outscore a little bit. Not as much as like a Nate Oates-led team, but a team that needs to have good pace, needs to keep the scoring going. They're not going to grind out too many games 64-60. Like, first is 75-80. And
unless they play Drake.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think the grinding it out is quite his team's games. It's more of, let's first to 80. Like, what was that stat? Dennis Gates won his first, 19, 20 games when he got to 80 first, and Mizzou won them all with him. Like, that type of thing is when Mizzou scores 80, they're really good. That would be my concern, is that you run into a tournament game and you're cold and you can't score and you lose the game. Although I think they're less reliant now on 3-point shooting. I think their offense is more consistent it's going to be hard to not score 70, 80 points most nights, like even if the shot's not going in. So I would say that's what I'm feel good about. The defense is what scares me. But if you ask ceiling, I think this can be a Sweet 16 team. Like I think this team could be like right now, their expectation, I would say, is a 9, 10, 11 seed. But I think they could get up as much as a 5 or 6 seed and maybe win a tournament game or two.
I think you make a great point that we haven't talked a lot about. Last year, the team very reliant on the 3-point shot, and they were great at it. Like, let's call it what it is. It looks like this team has 5, 6 guys who can get to the basket and score at all times. Sean Phillips is obviously a huge improvement over Josh Gray from the post. Javon Porter, a guy who played really, really good tonight down low. Obviously, Mark Mitchell's goal is to get to the basket every single time he touches the ball. Tamar Bates and Caleb Grill were both quick guys, but it seemed like they used their quickness to set up their shots more so. You look at Stone and Mack. Stone and Mack like to attack. I mean, they are, high intensity, get to the basket, draw contact guys. And I think that bodes well. I mean, Jacob Cruz is still going to be a guy who's going to be your spot shooter. He looks fantastic so far this year, really finding his role and his rhythm. But I do think that it's a good point you make, Grant, that this team probably is not going to rely on the 3-point shot like last year's team did. And again, it served them well at times, but when they struggled and when it was bad, it was really bad.